Thanks so much for tuning in to another episode of What on Earth to Eat Now, especially to all our subscribers. If you do watch these videos and you haven't yet had a chance to click that subscribe button, please do. It really helps us out. You won't miss an episode and it helps us to keep making these videos. So let's get to today's recipe. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make our wonderful morning bun recipe. It's the perfect recipe for a day off or a weekend morning. I put the dough on the minute I wake up, and by the time it's risen twice, it's ready and fresh out the oven for 11s or with afternoon tea. They're gloriously sticky with a pillowy dough and a crunch when you bite through the cinnamon sugar coating. They really are irresistible. So into my mixer, I'm going to put 500 grams of strong white bread flour. I'm going to put 50 grams of caster sugar, the zest of 1 orange, 7 grams of yeast, the dried quick acting, and this gorgeous vanilla pod. Keep these if you're going to make granola or roast fruit, and just wrap them up and keep them in the fridge. I've melted my coconut oil and my corn oil with 270 ml of unsweetened oat milk, and I'm just going to pour this in slowly as I get my mixer going. I'm going to mix it for about 5 minutes on a medium setting. You want to make sure that your oil and milk mixture is warm, not boiling and not cold, as we want to activate the yeast, and yeast loves it when it's nice and cozy. Finally, I'm going to add a teaspoon of salt. I'm going to let that mix for 5 minutes. It's beautifully silky and warm. And I'm just going to leave that for about 2 hours. I'm going to put a little bit of oil at the bottom just so it doesn't stick. It's a really easy dough to work with. I'm going to cover it and leave it for about 2 hours, somewhere nice and warm, away from any kind of draft. So it's been about 2 hours and my dough has risen beautifully. I'm going to lightly flour my surface. It's not a particularly sticky dough, but just a little bit of flour will help. And then I'm going to use my dough scraper, and I'm just going to get my dough like so. And I want it to be a rectangle, roughly sort of 35 by 45. And I'm going to do a lot of the work just by pulling it with my hands. It's lovely and silky and elastic. That's about right. And then I'm just going to take my rolling pin and just roll it out. It's a lovely dough to work with if you're not particularly confident with doughs. So that is lovely there. And I've got my coconut oil, light brown sugar, cinnamon, vanilla, oat milk, and my raisins here. And I've melted that while I was waiting for the dough. And I'm just going to spread it over really generously. I'm going to leave about ½ an inch at the bottom without any filling. So now I'm going to take the bottom like so and just fold it over and very roughly just roll it like a sausage. I'm going to pinch the ends and I'm just going to slice a tiny bit off both sides. And I'm going to cut it into 9. Move quite quickly because the filling wants to escape. But don't worry, I quite like them being slightly uneven. And there you have your beautiful 9 cinnamon buns. I'm going to cover them with a little baking paper because they're going to rise, and also with my tea towel, keep them nice and warm. And I'm going to leave them for about 45 minutes. I'm going to preheat the oven, and that's that. Whilst I'm waiting for 45 minutes, I'm going to make the most incredibly simple apricot glaze. So I've got a couple of tablespoons of clear apricot jam, and into that, a couple of tablespoons of boiling water. And I'm just going to set that on the hob, let it melt and bubble, and that's it. Really nothing to it. So it's been 45 minutes. As you can see, they've risen again, they're beautiful, and it's time to bake. I've preheated my oven to 180 degrees Celsius, and I'm going to bake them for about 20 to 25 minutes until they're lovely and dark golden on top. I'll check them after 10 minutes and turn the tin 180 degrees to get a really nice even bake. My buns are ready. Lovely and golden brown on top. I'm immediately going to cover them generously with this warm glaze, and they're going to absorb it. It's going to make them glossy and beautiful. I'm now going to sprinkle each bun with a little of this gorgeous cinnamon sugar. I do 2 teaspoons of cinnamon, ground cinnamon, mixed in with 100 grams of caster sugar. I want to leave part of each bun without the sugar so that it's glossy. And then you get a mixture of sticky glaze and crunchy cinnamon sugar when you bite into it. It smells gorgeous. I've left them about 30 minutes. They're still warm, but I'm going to turn them out of the tin. So I'm going to take my palette knife and just run it along the sides. It should be very simple. They do come away from the sides when they're cooked. Now I'm going to place a board on top. It's a bit fiddly, this. Like so. Give it a little wiggle. Like so. Look at that gorgeous bottom. All that's left to do is to tuck in. They are best a few hours after baking or on the day. If not, you can put them in the freezer. Just going to pull it away. Look at that lovely pillowy dough. Warm and sticky with plenty of oozy filling. Oh, it's so sticky and delicious. It's heavenly. Thanks so much for tuning in to another episode of What on Earth to Eat Now. I do hope that you enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to like and subscribe. If you don't want to miss an episode, don't forget to hit that bell icon. We'll see you again next time for another episode of What on Earth to Eat Now.